Yes, y'all. From in beautiful Carrollton, Texas, it is DCTF Live, the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas.
Well, it's going to start with a website?
Yeah, almost.
Okay, all right.
A magazine, and part of your day with us, whether it is live on TexasFootball.com, where you're here, to us on the podcast, which you can, sitting over there, it's Max Thompson.
Hello, Greg.
How are you?
Well, if the internet would cooperate.
Yeah, darned.
I apologize.
That's our bad, guys.
It's not really our bad. It's just, I don't really...
Wednesday, May 25th, 2016, episode 138, struck out as a Texas Ranger. Ramon Vasquez, of course, most notable...
I think that's right.
Baltimore and the Rangers back in 04-ish.
He also... I get sort of excited when you mention a guy that I know is in that game. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, yeah. I play.
A little bit later, we're going to... It was because one of the things we include in the magazine is returning stat leaders. Mm-hmm. Kind of struck you as you were doing the 4A, 3A, and 2A returning stat leaders that here are the numbers.
Yes.
Crazy. We're talking Texas High back, and yet nobody's really talking about
before these guys, and
but if
people are missing out.
But if you're a number,
I mean, like my thing is, if the numbers are there, it must be a pretty team worth seeing if they're near you.
We'll get into that, and in a really know what we're going to talk about in headlines.
Preparation today on our part. Real time looking at Twitter.
Yeah, we can.
So
I was here very briefly. Ready? There you go. There's some pages of the. We're now in the part of the process where we're just reading a ton of pages to the best of our ability. And so I came in a little bit early, stuck in traffic on the way in.
That'll happen.
And stuck in traffic on the way. Car in front of me, bumper stickers, covered in bumper stickers, and put print about how social media has really taken the shine off of
this prime real estate.
Way that you can get your dumb opinion out to a number of people is by putting a stupid bumper sticker on your car. That's tacky, and we have found a way to evolve. A way to evolve. That is that's good. I think ultimately, if we see fewer bumper stickers but more of your race telling us about how, I think that's a deal we make, right?
Sure.
Because I can mute him.
Yeah.
I can't mute a bumper sticker.
Although I will. One of my all-time favorite bumper stickers ever recently.
Oh yeah. Was it the
one? Yeah, I'm not being ironic. I genuinely was like, that's a great bumper. Yeah.
The Star of David is the X.
Yeah. You on your right. You're a dumbass.
Yeah, and you do.
You know what?
You have a. That's one of your pet peeves.
Oh man, great bumper sticker. Okay. Like, this is just a lane I can drive in. Right? There's 3 lanes. If there is room for my car, I can be in this lane.
It's okay. But and this is a larger discussion about we kind of have blind spots.
Sure.
Family, which will have it's here's the mom and the dad, and then 3 kids, and then a dog. Ha 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 ha. Rising to child predators that you have children potentially in the car, or blind spot because we are super protective of children, and yet we will freely advertise that there may be very vulnerable humans. And
I think it's super bizarre. I've never understood the appeal of that. Then they'll even stick figure as well.
That kind of I can't really grasp. The stick figure is something that we all had. I think we all think bumper stickers are one of those ideas that seem like a good idea for one moment, and then you start thinking about it wow, too.
Yeah, they understood. They're kind of awful. They never last, right?
No.
You even run apart and looking completely terrible.
The ones that drive me nuts, David Wright, they're trying to be funny, Right.
I got a joke for you.
On one kind of understand if you have a bumper sticker for a political candidate and you're you're a big SMU fan.
Right. I love my team.
Yeah, there you go. You're supporting your team. Okay,
go team.
Fine. Yeah, team drive me nuts are the joke. It's it's.
Well, there's
it's
a lot.
My other car
There's a lot that goes into that because it's like so much. Not enough people are getting to see this joke.
Is there more than once? Like there's maybe a couple that left, and then like a couple minutes later on that joke. That was really funny. Okay, that was maybe an instance, but I'm not comfortable telling a joke to like tens of thousands of people.
Right.
Especially.
You immediately got me thinking. I've got one, and that's it. So I don't.
I
don't think it's too long to be a bumper sticker, right?
Do you want to? Dude, I have no headlines.
You got nothing to talk about?
I have no headlines.
Well, we will high school players.
Well,
so.
or we cut it short. It's fine.
That's fine.
4:00 today. We'll be skating by. So I promise.
Yeah.
Okay,
this is a pretty good joke. So I was
hold on. Let me stop.
Okay. So I was when I was at Anfield, Liverpool's home stadium, a few weeks ago, and the tour guide was telling everyone about the spy on cop on the far end, right?
The spy on cop.
The cop. Used to be there were like 30,000 people that could fit one bathroom on that end of the stadium, and most of these were like, oh, can you imagine, ladies, only one bathroom for 30,000 people, and of course all the ladies on the tour go, oh my God, that's terrible.
Sure.
In the middle of the game, and the tour guide goes, oh yeah, well that did happen one time. 100 rows up and be one big crowd, you're not going to get through and get back in time, and you gotta pee. To do, I can't just pee. He's like, here's what you do: take your program, whiz into it. I mean, won't he notice? And the brother turns to him and goes,
do you get it?
It's pretty good.
I'm not.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. A fine joke. I don't know if that's the kind I would put on a bumper sticker and put on my car.
No, it's too long to put on a bumper sticker. That's
yeah. That's the only thing. Yeah. We're DC in talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter. You can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Instagram. This other topic because I don't have any headlines. So again, it's going to press next Wednesday. It will be out. Yeah. Talking. Let's call it June 25th for now. That is give or take about 3 days. Let's say. Okay.
Sure.
Is in the class previews, or actually in the class reviews, we have the returning stats leaders for each. Obviously, was an outrageous wide receiver at Navasota, but he has since graduated. Coming back, who put up crazy numbers last year that are among the best in the state. A lot of them are the usual suspects. Yeah. For example, Eno Benjamin, leading returning rusher in Class 5A out of Wiley East. That shouldn't be a surprise. Wiley East running back Eno Benjamin a lot because he's stuff like that. State, we talk about him a lot. They're guys together this list, and you're saying, passers, interceptors are. You go
right.
So here's our opportunity to do that.
Let's do that.
So we're gonna go down by classification.
All right.
6A, and I fudged. Because these guys' numbers, I would be doing the other a disservice.
Right. So which one do you want to start with?
We will start with Rowlett wide receiver Ladarius. You know he was DFW's leading receiver last year among all receivers, not just underclassmen. I believe. I don't know if Josh Fink graduated, but in the DFW area, we're all underclassmen. You have Ladarius Dickens out of Rowlett. So first of all, that's pretty good. 1,446 yards, 17 touchdowns. Pretty nice little year for Ladarius Dickens. And, Let figures to be pretty darn good. But because they've just got a lot of other talent coming back, 5-star Bonner, but whoever steps in at quarterback is going to have one heck of a wide receiver to throw to. 4 knees at. The other guy is maybe a guy we've talked about a bit. And you look at the teams one of the teams that's always going to come up, or Rockwall put up ludicrous numbers last year. And they are prolific receivers in Sam Crawford. Sam Crawford caught 77 balls for 1,436 balls. This guy is a baller, and he is a big play threat waiting to happen. And one guy we have mentioned before is Kevon Ahmad, the Colleyville Heritage wide receiver, 1,500 yards receiving and 18 touchdowns.
Lots to look forward to there.
This is a ton of really, really good.
Yeah, and our friends at of receivers DFW's ever seen.
Okay, so
it is a great name.
But he is very quietly one of the most prolific quarterbacks. Okay, first of all, Bailey Zappe, pretty great.
That's a great name.
Okay, this kid, I think because Victoria is kind of out of the way, and covering that.
Seriously great.
Him, East and West. Victoria, I think, kind of it's not quite close alone. So I think that Victoria, which by the way, both East and West are going to be pretty good this year. East has a quarterback. If you've heard of Victoria East for this year, he's one of the best tight end prospects in the state. But the guy throwing to him's not bad either. Bailey Zappe, returning passer, he threw for 3,275 yards and 42 touchdowns. And that's good.
Yeah.
That would be very good. What in times, he threw just 7 interceptions.
That's pretty good.
For a junior is really impressive to me. So Bailey Zappe, your eye on. Not only, I really think this West, it's going to be a dogfight between those two, and I think that it's going to be a big. Here with 4A is Max Thompson.
So we talk about 4A. You know, it's been, the talk has been Navasota for so long, right? Sheldon Epler, and lots of great players coming back. We got Dane Ledford, lots of really good players. One that just is out there throwing ridiculous turning passer, 405 interceptions.
Dude, it's weird that you mentioned.
What?
It's weird that you mentioned that because between not only Williams, but they bring back Keegan all over the place. 14 touchdowns receiving, 12 in the kick return game, punt return touchdown. I mean, they've got a ton of weapons coming back. On defense coming back. Andrews, I'm glad you brought them up because Tristan here deserves to be kind of talked about.
I did not realize. I knew he was good, right? Odem quarterback Michael Everett. They were knocked out early in the playoffs. I
think second or third round.
Second, but still, like, this is 76 yards, 48 touchdowns.
Yeah, dude, he can
just.
Yeah, no
Odem. Idea. No one's talking about Michael
last year, and he's coming back.
We talk about Groveton a lot as like a team like that does like that. You should be watching that offense.
Yeah, the pretty darn silly,
salty,
yeah,
man.
It is.
You don't.
Their
expect...
team, they're off the charts. That they're gonna be a danger to anyone they play. It's into the bargain as far as making a real deep run,
right?
But they're gonna be problematic for everyone because they can put.
And then finally, 2A. We've got guys that we talk about all the time. Jalen. These are good. Did you know the top returning rusher, 2,299 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns?
I will be 100% honest. I did not know that. I knew that Cyclones had put up some that big of numbers.
Yeah,
those big of numbers. Wow, that's impressive.
2000. Yeah,
and you're talking about to make the argument. It's a bad argument, but if you wanted to make the argument that everybody throws the ball these days, a lot of teams throwing the ball in 2A, that's where you have tees. That's where you have the veers. That's where you have these power eye off 60%, 70% of the time. Rusher in the state is wow. That honestly surprises me. That is not a name I would have come up with.
Scoro and Rashad, and they throw, for ridiculous numbers of yards. But that's amazing. Someone to keep your eye on going into this season.
Actually, you know what? I can give you. I know I didn't give you this ahead of time, but I can give you one for the private schools as well.
Ooh, a private school edition. Huh?
So I was doing that. I was doing the private school cap. I really wish, honestly, that they could be here with us, knowing things about.
Sure.
But then it would be for an okay. So returning, for example, the leading passer is Christopher Wilhelmi from Tyler Grace Community. He is back. The leading passer, Michael Massarella, yards last year. Judah Bell had 1,350 yards. And then here's one. I don't know if you have a guy who had 11 interceptions.
10 is my best.
Patrick Skalniak.
That's a lot.
As a junior.
Yeah, I think I had 10. That's what we topped out at.
10. Yeah. You'll have a couple that'll have 10
if you only play a regular season.
Pretty nuts. So that's it for us. So
this is a good segment.
I got to read this Houston. So thanks for tuning in for the show. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm really bad at. Campbell's, follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy, and we.